Ta-da! We're here. Hello there. Welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom and Anastasia. Yay, thanks for being here again. Wonderful co-host.
Of course,
Yeah,
anytime.
beautiful. As always, the show topics include anything you believe is very newsworthy about anti-racism, bigotry, inequality, and corruption in America. However, tonight we're going to do it differently. So forget about that. The show's meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind and call in or type in, and to serve as an educational tool in cultural competency with a focus on learning the truth about systemic racism in America. So if you're watching, please say hello. Do not be shy. This is a participatory show. Tonight's going to be a real short one. So I'll talk really fast. All right. This month, Anna and I decided to change the format, and it just keeps changing. We're going to hold discussions about Black people's experiences in real life. How's that? Does that cover everything? I just keep switching it because I don't know anything about pop culture. Okay, we won't get into it.
Of course.
And in honor of Black History Month, but I have a quick announcements, and then we'll talk about this Black History Month. Okay, and then I will shut the hell up at some point so Anna can talk. We are doing some Bears for Humanity charity, and I'm going to tell you all about it sometime soon. This is just a teaser. Richard, welcome. Thanks for being here. Yay. Good to have you. I'm going to just quickly go because this is a short show tonight. Last week's show is going to be posted. The only problem is we kind of got like copyrighted or whatever, and I'm going to chop it out and get it back in. So we'll put that back on if you're wondering where that went. It's kind of crazy. I want to just with a heavy heart. It is with a heavy heart tonight about the struggle in our nation with systemic racism, and Black History Month should be every month. Okay, it's history. It's history, not racial history. It's history. But I always say racial history because it's been whitewashed and completely thrown out of schools. Pretty much every public school on the planet, you get a little taste, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And Mahako, welcome. And that's disgusting. It should be every minute of every second of every day, like it is White History Month. I made a parody, actually. Did you ever see the nasty little parody I made, Anastasia, on why don't we have a White History Month?
I haven't seen that
It's
yet.
very
I think
nasty.
when I first met you, I saw it and I was like, no, she didn't. What the hell is this? But yeah, I didn't think I didn't watch it because I instantly, all my blackness was like, uprose, and I was like, I'm not doing this today. But then I think I watched it later on.
And you're like, oh.
Yeah, like,
oh. I know I got really obnoxious and really snarky and really, I was being sarcastic. And if you want to see it, it's kind of a mouthful. I was just like, hello, if they have a Black History Month, we should have a White History Month. In fact, we have so much white history, we should have many, many months, not just one. And then I started naming every month, and it was like all the atrocities and all the things that we've done. So, yeah, it got really ugly fast. And I don't mean to be like that with new people, but
but you know what though? Remember we talked about that. As well.
Absolutely.
And I was like, white people can have the whole year because the EJI, the Equal Justice Initiative, has a whole calendar of atrocities that white America has committed. I have no problem telling them every little nasty, disgusting thing that they've done, not just to Black people, to white women, to First Nations people, to Asian people, to everybody. Everybody. So
we have a white person problem in this country.
Right.
And I'm a white person saying that, and I have no incentive. No one is paying me to say this. No one has a gun to my head to say this. I'm saying it because it's the freaking truth. And no, I don't hate white people, but I just expect a little better. I don't know what to say. I expect a little more. I have expectations that are, in the humanity range, not in the like piece of shit, can't act like a freaking human range. But that's all I'll say. And I don't hate people. I guess my expectations are high. So anyway, today we're going to talk about the Arkansas, the Little Rock Nine. And you might know a little bit about that. We're going to extend it a bit today, extend it out and tell you a little story through a video I just made and never really reviewed. So there could be some errors in it. It might be a good comedy show. So without further ado, I want to start with the history of the summary of the Arkansas Little Rock Nine. And if you want to jump in, just wave a hand, jump in anytime. Okay. If you want to comment, led by the Arkansas NAACP, the president was Daisy Bates. 9 Black students took on the task of testing the U.S. Supreme Court's 1954 landmark ruling Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas. Now, unlike what most people believe, most white folks, often believe is that, they made the law and everyone followed it. Well, welcome to life. Welcome to reality. A lot of states were like over our dead bodies, of course. So many states didn't even try until they were forced. And forced 2 years later wasn't even like that year when it passed. So it's pretty bad. But first, let's start with who was Daisy Bates? There's a lot of unsung heroes when you're talking about Black folks in history, because we whitewash all the big stuff out. You think we add the little stuff? No way. The little details here and there. So I love hidden history. It shouldn't be hidden, but it is. So I do the bad, the ugly, the good, the bad, the ugly of hidden history. Daisy Bates was married to a journalist, and they operated a weekly African-American newspaper called the Arkansas State Press. Bates became president of the chapter of the end and played a crucial role in the fight against segregation, in which she documented in a book she wrote. And what she did was she kind of was one of the big leaders in getting these kids, they handpicked these children. They weren't just any children. They were the brightest and the best and and they trained them. They taught them what they were going to go up against. And these were some brave kids. And I don't think we talk about them enough. So this woman, Daisy, was the big person who kind of helped organize it among other people. And so what happened was, under the glare of this angry white mob, which you've seen in pictures, and we're going to show you again tonight, 1,200 armed soldiers. Imagine going to school like this. Media cameras, pro-segregation governor, Fabus, the Little Rock Nine made their way to this. They were going to you'd think, they're going to do something. They're going to go to school is what they're going to do. Just learn. That's insane. And these kids were, I don't know, they're heroes to me. I think it's just amazing. Think about your child. Would you ask your child to do this nowadays? Think about you asking your child. And this was not just an angry mob. This was a freaking crazy mob with, hey T, welcome, with the mentality of like some of the most psychotic racists you could think of. This is terrifying. And these were kids. They were high school kids, really smart, like studious high school kids. So President Eisenhower had to finally employ the military to keep the. I don't like that whole keep the peace. Keep the peace to me makes it sound like there's two sides. Okay, and I don't go there. All right, if there's two sides, there's two sides. But when it comes to our fellow humans, civil and human rights, there's not two sides. There's one side. That's it. Just one. So keep the peace. Who was making the noise? Who was it? Keep the peace means, I don't know. I'm just saying that's just what it means to me. And so it's kind of bothersome. Words matter. The only people not keeping the peace were the racist psychopaths that were basically trying to terrify these children. And That's all I can say. 8 of the students carpooled together, but because her family didn't have a telephone at the house, it wasn't completely unheard of. The Elizabeth Eckford couldn't be reached, so she ended up going by herself, and that's how some of these photographs came to be. Because you see a young Black woman by herself walking to school. At least if you're in a group, you're a little protected, not much. So she was all alone, and she went, and she did it, and she was traumatized most of her life because of it. This was not like, I mean, I don't know any adult who could do this, let alone a kid. So anyway, she ignored the screams and she tried to get in there. And when they were in school, once they finally got in, it was no picnic. I just want to read something real quick, and then we'll go on. Once they were in school, their lives were difficult. For the rest, constant verbal and physical harassment. Patil had acid thrown in her face. Ray was put, these are some of the kids. Ray was pushed down a set of stairs, and Brown was expelled for retaliating against a group of girls who put locks, like metal locks, in her purse and swung it at her. I mean, this is crazy. Brown's mother was even fired from her job because she wouldn't give in to the pressure to pull her daughter out of that school. I mean, the reason hidden history is so important is for a lot of reasons. But the one that gets me the most is this. Hidden history. People nowadays, the white folks, are in such denial of what's going on now. And part of that is because they're racist as fuck. I mean, I don't know what to say. But part of it also is they don't know their own history. And if you know the depths and the depravity of, should I finish? If you know depths and depravity, yes.
What I was going to say was, they know that's why they're trying to stop it from being taught.
Oh, well,
they do know.
Some of them, but I don't know. I always wonder, like, right. Okay. So on one hand, maybe they do know, but on the other hand, I honestly believe some of these guys actually are like dinglings and think it wasn't that bad. And I'm just saying that's, I don't know for sure, because how I teach the white folks is I show them how bad it was in the day. And then I creep up and I say, guess what? Not only the repercussions of those days over generations and generations of abuse and murder and cruelty, but it's still happening in every area. It's just changed in form. So yeah, I don't know. I think definitely some absolutely know, but I think others are so ignorant, not ignorant to racism, ignorant to the fact that of life, that they're just like, don't guilt out my baby. They didn't do it. It's like they don't get it. They don't get the full picture. But you could be right. I don't know. Do you want to jump in?
I don't believe any of that.
No.
I believe they do know. And I'm going to tell you why. Because white people know their heritage. It's one thing that they're proud of. Okay? Now, when you have a situation where you have white people that have slave rosters, you have white people that have lynching posters, chains.
They definitely know. Yeah.
They definitely love keeping things because those things make them feel superior.
It's like a fake superiority. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like some people will keep an old picture of themselves just so they can look at it like, man, I was fine back in the day. Or keep some clothes as a motivation to lose weight. Now you're not gonna be able to. If you done had 5 kids, them hips is not going in that. So, but it's just and I feel like I don't believe that
like
anymore.
Nostalgia, like nostalgia, kind of like.
Yeah, it's nostalgia because you're here. You're here.
Yeah.
I want. This is the thing about conservatives. If you ask them, like you probably seen this, when was America great? Where did they go to? When Black people couldn't vote.
When it was great for them. Right.
Women couldn't vote.
Right.
Undocumented immigrants, they could use them as slave labor.
Mm-hmm.
So they know. You got to remember we talked about this. Mm-hmm. The white supremacists are always in time. No matter what is they're always going to be in time. we're always going to be out of time. And so when you have this situation, it's always a running up to, you know, make sure we're in time. But it never happens because the white supremacist is going to say, like this situation with the Little Rock Nine, that woman is still alive. Carolyn Bryant is still alive. Ruby Bridges is still alive.
Absolutely.
But they push it back so much. Oh, that was a long time ago.
The pictures, what, black and white instead of color pictures?
Right. They use things like that. That they use the black and white pictures when we know when Martin Luther King was alive and that was going on.
There were pictures in color,
pictures.
Right. No, I totally.
So
I'm not denying what you're saying. I absolutely believe what you're saying. I also believe there's a certain. I work with beginners, people who are like, how do I explain this? Just completely. I mean, unless they're great actors, I've worked with thousands of beginner white folks who truly don't know shit about.
Well, that's because they've never had to think of anybody but themselves.
Right. So I'm talking about kind of like those guys, but the people you're talking about, absolutely. There's tons. I'm not saying everybody's innocent. Oh God, no, there's no innocence because you see, here's the thing. If you're alive today on the planet, you see what's happening and you are benefiting from it. If you are white in any way, shape or form, and if you do nothing, then if you do nothing and just watch and be nice to everybody, that doesn't do crap to dismantle systemic racism. That means you're benefiting from it and you think that you're already doing your part by being nice. No, you can't dismantle a gigantic, powerful system by being nice. We wish we could. White women and white men stole that from Martin Luther King Jr. Oh, I dream of a time. They cherry picked it and made it like treat everyone with their character. And yeah, that's great and wonderful. But I'm sorry, it's gone a little too far for that. It's not going to dismantle anything. So I totally get what you're saying, but I also work with some people who truly don't. I mean, it's like mind-boggling.
Can I say this last thing? And I know
Absolutely.
We're going to move on.
You can say whatever you want.
These people that you know of, they have jobs, right? They have children, right?
Some of them.
But listen, these people are functioning adults with cell phones and computers. You see what I'm saying? Now, when they went for
anymore. Right.
When these people went to get a job, are they filling out applications online or by hand? When they went to high school, when they went to college, how did they research? What did they want to get into? You will research what you care about.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is what I'm saying. If you had a question, you could have Googled it. Like my daughter today, she was talking about some girl and they were saying Macy Jempson was a rapper. And so the girl was like, no, she's not. And so the girl asked her, and she was like, you can Google it. Because I've told them it's not our job. If you want to find out who it is, you'll Google it. And I don't believe any of it anymore. I think that they've made this innocence, this ignorance out of innocence, a ploy, specifically with white women. And I know you're going to go back in the story and say why I said that. But I think white women have got it down pack that, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. No. So.
Right. No, you know what? I definitely think there's a group. I think, and this is just like my white woman opinion after what I've read and stuff. I think it's a combination of a whole bunch of things. I don't think it's like so simple like that. I think a lot of people are absolutely. Quite frankly, I think a lot of us white women and men just don't have to think about it. Like, my own husband didn't meet a real live black person until he was 18 years old. And I mean, there are people like, this is crazy how segregated we still are. And that is us. That's white people. So when I say we have a white person problem, I am in no way saying, oh, the poor innocent. No. Especially now, after these last 6-7 years, if you don't know what's going on, then you just don't give a shit, But anyway, I've met some pretty dense people. That's all I'm saying. But I hear you. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. But again, I work with white folks who, for years, who want to know, but they're like afraid and they don't know. And they want to, and they're afraid to ask. They're so afraid they'll ask me before they'll ask somebody like you who lives it every day. That's how afraid they are. So it's really, this is serious. Like, this is crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And then all of us coming out of the age, I was raised with all white people in the age of colorblindness. You don't dare talk about seeing color. You are a racist piece of shit. So, I mean, there's a lot of psychological crap going on. It is absolutely our responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the people being oppressed and marginalized and harmed and beaten and killed and raped and mean to teach us or to, do anything. But I'm just saying, I think it's a strange combination of a lot of things. Yeah, it's not pretty, but I hear you. I absolutely respect, and you know more than I know about this. So I say you're probably 100% right. It's just, I've met some real, like, hard to say. Anyway, the Little Rock, blah, 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 blah. So these kids were like heroes. And most of us don't study this in school. I want to say, Richard, I agree with Anastasia. If they didn't know, why would they think they or their kids would be uncomfortable with true history being taught? Now, we're talking about people who are and they don't want history being taught. Right. Now that is, of course, duh. That's like, if you don't want history being taught, then guilty. Bye, guilty. Go. No. I'm talking about people who just have never really had to. They live in a town where there's one black person and they don't even look at them as black because they just kind of do, it's that kind of thing. There are so many segregated areas, and it is a choice to not get it. It's a choice. Sometimes it's a choice to live in a segregated area. It's complicated. We keep it out of school. Unless you yourself, as a white person, take it upon yourself to learn this. There's no institution that's going to help teach you. In fact, the institution is going to go against you and not going to teach you. It's going to teach you like just kind of like periphery and, let's talk about it for a month in February. Now, black people were here before most, actually, truth is probably all white people. So I don't want to get into that. But anyway, I'll try to stay topical tonight. So let me see. Where was I in my little quick explanation? But this is jump in whenever you want. Just wave me down. Okay?
No, all I was going to say was,
go ahead.
Black people were the first. And for everybody that's out there, yes, the two first findings of people, even that's close to us as far as were in Africa. So exactly. There you go. And there was another one in Morocco, I think.
Yep.
So there's no doubt that life was started in Africa. And you can say whatever you want to say about that. That's fine, but whatever. Lucy and the other one that was found were found in Africa. Okay. In regard, white people are not indigenous anywhere. That's just a proven fact. You're not indigenous anywhere.
Right. We're mutation. We're mutation right. For survival born out of black. We all have black people in us because we're all part black. And
right.
I would just love someone to tell the KKK people that. So if they want to go murder someone, they can murder themselves.
Trust me. 23andMe is telling them one at a time.
I know I'm awful, but it's just like when somebody's that far gone, it's like, guess what? I mean, it's just crazy. But anyway, yeah, absolutely. And the best science knowledge has been proven over and over again. The best practices, best knowledge of the scientific community in the world says that white folks were created out of black people. Okay, if you got to go there, okay, if you know about melanin, if you know about the science of it, it's not rocket science because I learned it, and so it can't be rocket science. Anyway, just saying. I'm just saying. Where was I? Okay, so all these horrific things happen to these families, and also they endured can you imagine enduring a year worth of this insanity at school? It's just crazy. Today's topic is a little bit different. I wanted to talk really quickly before we get into the actual subject matter about this is the kind of history that these anti-history people do not want to be taught to children. Because, I made a list of like 10 time. Why wouldn't we white people want this to be taught? Oh my God, there's 1,000 reasons. Because then we'll know, our kids will know we're lying. Our kids will know we're full of it. Our kids are no, I mean, it's just like, oh my God, our kids might actually ask us a few questions. Okay. Our kids will question us. Our kids might start thinking and actually using their critical thinking skills and saying, you know what? This is kind of messed up. Okay. So there's why we would be like, oh no, we like benefiting from it and we don't want it to change. And we work hard to keep that generational thing going. I mean, I won't go into all those reasons, but I wanted to say the repercussions for these kids and their families was actually, Anastasia pointed this out to me. Know this, and I'm afraid to say it. I did not know that 42 years ago, as of Wednesday, I guess it was 40. I'm not sure if that's exactly right, because it might have been when this was dated. No, it is. Okay, it is right. A bomb went off. 1600 Valentine Street in Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay. And this was 42 years ago. Nobody was injured. Times have really changed. Not. Okay. They beat the hell out of the man who lived there in an attempt to get some sort of confession out of him saying he did it to, I don't know. And I'm going to make a video on this for sure. But later they wanted to arrest 2 young black men who clearly didn't do it, but it didn't matter. It turned out it was probably the KKK. She was one of the little girls who was the Little Rock 9. It was an unsophisticated, I mean, this is the shit. Like, these kids signed up. I don't know if they know what they signed up for, but they are heroes. Do you want to jump in? This is just crazy.
I completely disagree. I disagree with the fact that I wouldn't say that they're heroes. I will say that they were brave. I will say that they did so much more than a whole bunch of grown adults would have done. But I'm looking at it, the mental health tolls, the way that they, will never, and if you believe in God, that's fine. But I'm just using it. They will never be what God intended them to be because of that.
The damage. Well, their parents let them do it. Yeah, I mean.
Right, no, I get that. But I would never, my kid would never be the first at no white school or no Asian school, because at the end of the day, their mental health is going to deteriorate because of that. And what's more important, I'm not saying it's not important, and I'm not saying that, I'm just like, are the parents looking at the mental health of these children? Now, if they're
how that came to be with every case, but they were chosen.
But you understand what I'm saying? No, I'm just saying in general. That like with Ruby Bridges, the reason why she had to bring her own lunch is because they were scared that adults would poison her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, why would you put your kid? I'm not going to put my kid in a situation where they may be abused, not only by the kids, but by the adults.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, and I don't think
my kids will. Yeah.
I don't think the parents were like heroes. They got
no. I'm not saying that.
I think the kids.
I'm not saying that.
The kids were really damn brave.
All I'm saying is this country is not worth our best and brightest.
Right, absolutely.
This country is not worth that.
Absolutely.
At all. Mm-hmm. And if we, and let's be clear, Martin Luther King, like I think it's Mr. MS Black said it. If they would have been, Martin Luther King regretted it. He said, I think I've integrated my people into a burning house and my dream has turned into a nightmare. So if Martin Luther King is saying that,
but we never as white people, we never jump in on that. We always say, it's peaceful and sweet and darling and nice. Yeah, no, we're for it. We're full of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said a whole bunch of things about reparations. He said about socialism.
We
He
never
talked
talk about that.
anti-war. But they never bring those things up.
No. We've whitewashed the
So,
living shit out of it, really. We've sanitized it.
right, exactly.
Because, we just got to protect these white kids. It's like, you know what? Quite frankly, I am protecting my white kids by telling them the truth. How do you like those? What do you think of that? That's protecting my kids, because I will not live a lie and force my kids to live a lie. Sorry, not doing it. Kids are pretty good with this kind of thing. You'd be surprised. Who you're really protecting is yourself. White adults are protecting themselves. We're the chickens. We're the, our kids will be perfectly fine. We teach them all the other history.
Please say it for the best. But this is my whole thing. You'll let them watch movies that got killing and all these things in it. You'll let them read these books. You'll let them play these video games. I'm not blaming the video games or anything, but I'm saying though, you'll let them do all these things, but put a history book in their hands and oh my God.
We're hypocrites.
Yeah. You'll even put a gun, like the Crumleys, in your kid's hand. You rather put a gun in their hands than a book. That tells me exactly who you are.
Yeah. So these kids suffered horrific repercussions, every last one of them. It's obvious only one of them actually ended up graduating from that actual school. I mean, these people did not want them there, and it was some scary stuff. So I am going to, great points, Anastasia, absolutely incredible points. Whenever somebody is afraid to do something, I mean really afraid, and they do it anyway, and it's a good thing for their fellow humans, I look at them and say, wow. Doesn't mean I'd put my kid in that position. Oh, hell no. But I look at these kids as kind of unsung heroes, in the sense that they need the recognition for what they did, what they endured. I don't think I would put my kid in that position, but I still think what was done was done. And these guys, boy, they made their mark, and that's why a lot of times we as Americans, and mostly white folks, but everybody probably, we think all these rights just came about. Most white folks, they think, 64, oh yeah, everyone just voted in and celebrated. I think not.
No.
It's like,
no, but what they'll say, we freed you. We gave you the right to vote.
Yeah, like they're the heroes.
What are you talking about? You gave me anything. You're the one, but you don't want to talk about the fact that you're the one that enslaved the Africans. You're the one that made laws against all that. So
we went
what
against
are you talking about?
We went against our own laws too, because we would not we have it in name only, but we just suddenly, there's so many de facto ways to get around de jure stuff. I could just go, I won't get into it. I get off topic, but it's unbelievable. It is really unbelievable. Like the football thing that's going on with the guy that's he's suing the NFL because there's the Rooney Rule. I don't know how to get off topic, which I always do. The Rooney Rule says that there's a certain way you have to go about hiring, and you have to have somebody who's a non-white, or so I don't know what's written. And so guess what they do? They say, oh yeah, wink, wink, we'll do that. Well, let's just say the cat was out of the bag this time, and somebody told somebody, and somebody accidentally said something, but that's how it's done. That's how it is done. Laws aren't going to change a person's heart, and they circumvent the laws under the guise of, we're following the rules, and it's all bullshit, and that's how it works.
But then they hired a biracial person. Like, okay, bro. Like, bro, nobody, you know what I'm saying? We're not, those rules that you just did was for the old Negro. The old Negro was okay if there was a black face in the room. The old Negro was okay where it was a proximity to blackness. Even if the person had a black body that wasn't attached to a black mind. Damn that.
Where they were asked to shut the hell up and sit there and look black and not say anything or not participate. Here's the thing. it's not enough. It's not enough. Nobody wants in-name participation. We actually want it to be genuine. And so anyway, I'm off on a tangent as usual, but so I made a video explaining a little bit more about, and this talks about reconciliation, and tonight's show is going to be really short. So nice talking to you. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to show this video, and I will definitely do a video on what went on with the bombing. Oh my God, that's a whole story in and of itself. But today's video brought to you by me. It's kind of, let's just say you'll know it's by me. Not one of my better productions, but I'm sticking to it. So bear with me.
You're wonderful. Stop it.
No, you're going to be like, seriously? It's not too pretty, but thank you. You're very sweet, but yes. Okay. So here's a video I threw together today. It's kind of, I even picked the music, so don't make fun of me. Okay. On the morning of September 4th, 1957, Eckford was to join 8 other students, a group that was later to be known as the Little Rock Nine, to become the first black students to enroll in an all-white Little Rock Central High School. The crowd gathered outside Little Rock Central High School. The military men were ordered by Governor Orville Fax to surround the school and prevent black students from entering the grounds. In the forefront, a 15-year-old girl named Elizabeth Eckford is being hurled insult by a white mob behind her as she is denied entrance to the school. 3 years earlier, the Supreme Court ruled the segregation of public schools unconstitutional, but in the South, ruled by the brutality of Jim Crow, many whites clung to segregation. Just behind her, also 15 years old, was another young woman whose face is contorted with anger. That young woman's name was Hazel Bryant, and her face became the face that symbolized segregation in the southern United States. The photo of Hazel Bryant screaming at Elizabeth Eckford is jarring enough, but the story of their subsequent reconciliation and friendship is just as fascinating. In the days after the incident, Eckford and the rest of the Little Rock Nine experienced hateful treatment from other students. It got worse as the school year continued. This is a picture of the Little Rock Nine with the NAACP president. Eckford stayed silent about her ordeals for years and suffered from depression and trauma throughout her adult life. Bryant spent years atoning on her own, learning about the civil rights movement and becoming more racially conscious. 40 years after Bryant screamed at Eckford, they reunited, reconciled, and became friends. This is a picture of Elizabeth Eckford and Hayle Bryant reunited at the 40th anniversary of the Little Rock Nine. She was remorseful over the way she had treated Eckford and was haunted by the fact that her children would one day see her in this infamous photo. In 1963, she tracked down Elizabeth Eckford and called her to apologize for her behavior 6 years earlier. This is Elizabeth Eckford in front of the main entrance of Central High in Little Rock, Arkansas in 2007. After a brief warm friendship that saw them attend events and seminars together and even pose for a poster entitled Reconciliation that featured a modern-day photo of the pair outside of Little Rock Central, their paths split again when they realized they could not truly reconcile. They were really kind of an amazing and inspiring couple, Margolick says. Not forever, though. By 2007, 50 years after the day of the photograph, the friendship seemed to have soured. That year, Eckford told NPR that Bryant had told her she had amnesia about that and she didn't remember anything about the original incident. But over the years, Eckford said, I came to understand that she had had contact with those students every Saturday on a local TV dance show, and she was part of an organized group that attacked us physically in the school. And so the happy ending came to something of an end. The two women grew increasingly estranged, Margolick says. Elizabeth felt that there was no way that Hazel could have done something so egregious so casually. True reconciliation can only occur when we honestly acknowledge our painful but shared past. If you like your hidden history served with a side order of honesty and integrity, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.
Amazing. You're so amazing. So it looks like we lost Angry Soccer Mom.
I'm back.
Okay, she's back. Guess who's
I'm back?
back? You're back.
I'm back. So, let me just, what did I do? Okay. So that's the scoop. So we wanted to talk a little bit for a few minutes about reconciliation. And, here's the thing. You got these politicians who use the N-word. You got these people who are horrific to Black folks. And then they say, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. No,
they don't say sorry. They say, I'm sorry that happened.
you're right. I got caught.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that, that ugliness happened. That's not me. That's not, trust me, there's a script.
That's not who I am. It's like, no, actually,
Right.
that's exactly who you are if you say stuff like that. I'm sorry. A white person, no offense, but if that's the kind of stuff that comes out of your mouth, then that's the kind of stuff you think. Then that's the kind of stuff you feel. Then that's who you are. No, sorry. No. If you want to be sorry, and I'm not one of those like, you can never be sorry. Go be sorry. Guess what you do? You spend the rest of your life showing you're sorry.
Accept your consequences.
Right. And
like,
you get consequences and you take them and you suck it up and take them.
Or you know what? Wait a minute. I was on Ambien.
That's a good one. I've heard that before.
I was drunk. Wait a minute. I had low blood sugar. Wait a minute. I didn't know I was being taped.
That's a little more honest. I was scared for my life. We've heard them all. And the thing is, you don't talk like this if you don't think like this in your head. And if you think like this in your head, that's how you feel. Sorry.
But it's muscle memory, because there's certain things that I'm not used to saying. Supercalifragilistic. You know what I'm trying to say? Yes. Supercalifragilistic.
Doesn't just come out like that. Yeah.
You notice how even me saying that didn't just come out.
You had to think about it really hard. Yeah.
I had to think about that. So if the N word is just, or go back to Africa, or go back to where you came from,
this is the first time.
This is not the first. It's not the second. It's not the third.
Who you are.
You've always been saying this. And this is the thing, when people say, oh, I was drunk. Oh, I was on this. I had low blood sugar.
No, you got caught.
On drugs, a person that drinks doesn't lie. They don't lie. So like she said,
their inhibitions are loosened. Yeah, their inhibitions are loosened. Yeah.
Like, you come on, like there's certain things, like Beetlejuice. You know why I can say Beetlejuice like that? Because I've seen the movie. I love the movie. And I was probably saying something like, for instance, I would always say, man, that was a Beetlejuice line. And people like, a Beetlejuice line? I'm like, remember when he was in the afterlife and he had the long piece of paper? And they'd be like, oh, duh.
Oh my God, you're so funny with your movie references. And I don't know pop culture. And I'm like, okay, that's true. A guy with a little head, maybe? There's a little guy with a head and he was like kind of silly looking. He was a cat. Okay, yeah, go on. So bad. I knew this would come.
That's the guy. It's the guy with the shrunken head.
Yeah, a little head. Yeah. Okay, I feel like I really get this now. Just playing. I don't know shit. Oh my God, I'm so bad. But anyway, yeah, you're so funny. You are so good with the analogies, and I'm like, huh? I know, T. I know. Have pity on me. Have pity on me. Have pity on me. Anyway, enough about me. Yes, yeah. So here's the thing. There's a certain place. I know. There's a certain, there's this anti-racism continuum. Harper. Yay, Harper. all over Twitter, but it was taken out of context. Sorry, there's no context for that. What exact context is it taken out of? Come on. I know.
Can I say something to you, Kim?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kwame Ture, formerly Stokely Carmichael, said, if you don't like me, that's your problem. That's not my problem. If you hate me, that's your problem. That's not my problem. If you want to lynch me, that's your problem, not my problem. But if you have the power to do something because of your hate or your dislike, or that you want to lynch me, you have the power to lynch me, then it becomes my problem. And the only reason why I'm saying this because this Joe Rogan thing, I don't give a damn about Joe Rogan. I never watch. When they keep calling him a comedian, I ask somebody, if he's so much of a comedian, tell me one of your favorite jokes of his. Tell me. Give me one joke that Joe Rogan has ever told that was funny to you. Because you know you're full of crap. The second thing about, I don't care if Joe Rogan is a racist. You know why? Because I would rather Joe Rogan just be who he is. So I know where not to take my money, who not to talk to if you listen to this person. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And this whole thing about he married a woman with a black daughter. So he has a black stepdaughter. Wow. When the proximity to black people would make you any less of a racist?
My uncle, sisters, aunts, brothers, nephew. Come on.
But what I'm saying is domestic terrorists that enslaved black people had black children.
Yeah, they
raped
people. I mean, it's ridiculous. The whole proximity thing is ludicrous. I know so many, I'm sad to say, white moms who have children who are biracial, who are raising them to hate themselves. It's so sick. It's some sick shit. They're with black people all the time, their own children. Now, we don't play that game. No, not happening. So yeah, we got issues in this country. But oh my gosh. Yeah, I honestly didn't even know who the guy was. Okay, but then that's me. You know me. I don't know.
Sweetie, you're not missing anything. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like she said, I've only known Joe Rogan for Fear Factor. And then he went to Fear Factor. Don't worry about it. It's a trash show anyway.
I've heard of that
with the MMA. But they was talking about he's a sport. I was reading something. They said sports legend. How is Joe Rogan a sports legend? Like, are you for real, dude? So now they've given him all of these great titles because then it's harder to break him down. Just like Brock Turner. Brock Turner was a swimmer that happened to be a rapist. Other than a rapist that happened to know how to swim. You see what I'm saying? Words matter.
Police, whenever we talk about police, they're a 2-year veteran. Okay, excuse me. What does the word veteran mean? They're a 2-year veteran? That's not a veteran. Always trying to always trying to make it look, I just put up a video. It's a little bit kind of an off topic, but not really. Put up a video of a woman whose son ended up jumping into the school computer and having a little fun. He was 11 years old. He's a child. He's a little guy. He's 5th grader. Okay. And oh my God, if they didn't bring like the cavalry to come murder this
kid,
it was horrible. It was just, you got to see this video. This poor.
No, I've seen it. I know exactly what you're talking about. And she said that. But the other thing about it, remember the little white child that was driving his dad's car up the street, and the cops was waving at him.
Oh, adorable, brilliant, wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, it was or the little kids that was selling, the little white girls that was selling lemonade on the street, and then the black kids was selling it, and they arrested them and took their money. That's what I'm saying. The thing about it is, but one thing Dave said, and he said that the First Amendment shouldn't be applied to people like Rogan. This is my whole thing. First of all, the First Amendment is against the government, not private companies. That doesn't even apply. The First Amendment talks about the government will not curtail your freedom of speech. Now, this is my whole thing. I feel like this. I was in the Army for 24 years. I fought for Joe Rogan to say that dumb shit he said. No doubt. But I also fought for his ass to get fired and told to kick rocks by that private company. Now let's talk about Kaepernick. Now, when Kaepernick was doing his thing, oh my God, he needs to be fired. They can't do that on company time.
Double,
blah,
triple,
blah,
quadruple
blah.
standard. The ACLU would fight for anyone to be able to do exactly, because once take their rights away, yours are next. The ACLU in a heartbeat would fight in what you're right, exactly. They'd fight absolutely. Let him talk and talk and talk and make himself look like a freaking moron. But
they always believe in a free market until it's one of them.
Social consequences. And
yes,
companies deciding that they're going to step up to the plate because they can. That I'm perfectly
and they losing money. They lose. This is the thing. Remember, we talked about this. Companies don't move unless they know they're losing money. Period. The reason why if they do anything to Joe Rogan is because of money. It's not because of anything he said.
Right.
When they feel like they losing too much money and too many people are pulling away, that's when they're gonna be like, "Oh, you got to go." Because Bill O'Reilly, look what happened with Bill O'Reilly. You think that if Bill O'Reilly was bringing money into there, that they would have let Bill O'Reilly go after all the stuff that he did? Come on.
Well, the bottom line, Anastasia, and you know this more than anybody, is that, and I heed your warning, Dave. I know what you're saying, but that's a slippery slope, I'll tell you. The bottom line is we just have a sick, depraved love affair with racism, systemic racism in America, only second to, or maybe first, I'm not sure the order, maybe every other day it switches to capitalism on steroids. You'll sell your mama's soul for an extra buck. And I'm telling you, we have a white person problem in this country. And the reason I say this is because we've been the, I guess you call it the numerical majority for some time. And we've set up a culture that is really kind of immoral, like, okay, it's completely immoral. And I'm sorry, we had the power to do it and we do it. Not did it, we do it still. So it's our culture. It's white culture. It's American white culture. It's probably a lot of other cultures too, but I'm just talking about America. So what I'm trying to say is, like, we got some serious issues with this love affair with racism. On top of it, this capitalism on steroids. Those are two really, really bad, serious things. I'm just saying.
I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know the Aesop's fable about the frog and the scorpion?
Yes.
Okay. White supremacy is a scorpion. And we're that dumb frog that keeps going back and back and back. Keep letting the frog get on our backs. And we keep asking the same question. Why did you do that? You've killed us both. White supremacy doesn't care. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the ones that's going to suffer are poor white people.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be rich. Joe Rogan is rich. He's not going to suffer anything. Megyn Kelly, Jesus is white and so is Santa Claus. She got like $50 million. Who actually has been canceled? Who? The only people that get canceled is the victims of racism and white supremacy. Those are the only people that get canceled.
RJ the Great, the great one, Rogan isn't going anywhere because they cut him for a gazillion trillion. Yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm telling you, racism and capitalism on steroids. Watch out, Granny. If you have a lot of money, you might not get that water you need to survive. I mean, we are nuts with money. Do you want to take any comments or anything? we are just about ready to wrap.
Go ahead and read the comments off.
Okay, sure. The supposed foundation of Richard says the supposed foundation of American education is the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. But it's really racism, religion, and race. Unfortunately, the latter 3 are destructive. But when are you coming on the show, Richard? He always has the best sayings. You got to come.
That was on point. Like I said, that's a mic drop right there.
Yeah, that's what
he's right.
Yep. It's a great point to end the show. You guys, today was a short show, but an important show. And I hope that you learned a little bit, the whole reconciliation thing. There's an anti-racism continuum for us white folks. Every one of us is somewhere on it. A lot of us are really barely clinging on to the bottom of it, and that's not a good place to be. You cannot reconcile with somebody who denies. Sorry, no. You can't reconcile. The person has to be pretty damn.
You can't. You can't. I don't understand that. You cannot. First of all, the lady said they couldn't reconcile, right? Because she didn't see you as a human being. And you got
amnesia. That amnesia kicks in, and she didn't have amnesia. She was the head of the damn group. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You cannot have a logical conversation with somebody that doesn't even see you as a human.
Yeah, white folks, the BS. We just please drop this. We got to drop our egos and start listening and stop with this supremacy baloney. I personally don't want to live a lie. Do you? A lot of us do, but I don't. So anyway, thank you so much for being here, everybody. And Anastasia, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Bye, y'all.
Take care, and we will see you next Wednesday. Don't be a stranger.
See you next Wednesday.
Believe like I do that it's way past time for white America to take some racial responsibility. Please consider subscribing and say hello to me. I'm on a Facebook page called Angry Soccer Mom. Thanks. Good night, everybody. Yep. Thank you. You guys are wonderful. And we got to get you on the show. All right. Have a great night. Be safe out there, guys.